Let's go Dolphins! In the last few hours, we received news that Chris Grier has shown interest in two intriguing quarterback candidates. I'll tell you everything in a moment, but before we continue, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe it's time for Tua Tagovailoa to be replaced. Unfortunately, Tua's health is affected. Despite being a good QB, we need someone with more energy for 2025. Chris Grier has his eye on two names, Jalen Milroe from Alabama and Gabriel from Oregon. Leave your opinion on these guys in the comments. Should they come to the Dolphins or not? This development has generated great speculation among Dolphins fans. Could one of these quarterbacks be Tua Tagovailoa's future backup, or is there an even bigger plan in the works? Let's break it down. Jalen Milroe is, without a doubt, one of the most polarizing quarterbacks in this draft class. The Alabama signal caller is an elite athlete, widely considered one of the most dynamic runners at the position since Lamar Jackson. With 726 rushing yards and an impressive 20 rushing touchdowns last season, Milroe's ability to make plays with his legs is undeniable. However, his passing ability has left scouts divided. His accuracy issues, particularly in the intermediate range, are a legitimate concern. While he boasts a strong deep ball, arguably one of the best in this draft class, his overall passing consistency isn't where teams would like it to be. A surprising revelation at the Senior Bowl was Milroe's hand size measurement. At just under 8 3/4 inches, his hands are the smallest of any first-round quarterback prospect in NFL history. For context, the only NFL quarterback since 2022 to start with hands under 9 inches is Taysom Hill. This has fueled speculation that Milroe's best fit in the NFL may be in a gadget role similar to Hill's, rather than a full-time starter. The Dolphins, who have struggled in short yardage and red zone situations, could see Milroe as a valuable asset in projected packages. His ability to run quarterback power plays or run goal line formations could have an immediate impact, even if he doesn't become the team's long-term starter. While some are concerned about his passing, there are reasons to be intrigued. Milroe's accuracy on deep passes is exceptional. He completed 45.1% of his passes beyond 20 yards, ranking in the top half of college quarterbacks. His decision-making on deep passes was also commendable, with just one turnover-worthy play despite 3 interceptions. However, his struggles in the 10 to 20-yard range, where NFL quarterbacks make their money, raise questions about whether he can become a true starter at the next level. On the other end of the spectrum is Gabriel. Unlike Milroe, Gabriel is a polished, experienced passer with a history of strong accuracy numbers. The former Oregon and Oklahoma quarterback completed 72.9% of his passes last season and has consistently hovered around 70% throughout his college career. He also takes care of the ball, routinely throwing for 30-plus touchdowns with minimal interceptions. However, Gabriel is much smaller than the prototypical NFL quarterback, at just 5 feet 10 inches and 200 pounds. His hand size, measured at 9 inches, meets the minimum threshold but doesn't stand out. More concerning is his lack of arm strength. Reports that he threw a 75-yard pass in mobile have been debunked, and scouts generally agree that his deep ball ability is limited. Gabriel's style of play is built on quick decision-making and short, efficient throws. His adjusted completion percentage ranked second in the country, but his average depth of target was just 9.3 yards, ranking 93rd among college quarterbacks. That means he's not pushing the ball downfield, instead relying on screens, quick slants, and short passes that allow receivers to rack up yards after the catch. In Miami's offense, that might not be a bad thing. The Dolphins system under Mcdaniel prioritizes the Gabriel's timing and ball placement in the hands of players like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Additionally, Gabriel being left-handed, like Tua Tagovailoa, means the team wouldn't have to change blocking schemes or route concepts if he were to come in as a backup. So, which quarterback makes more sense for the Dolphins? If the team wants a developmental quarterback with high upside and the ability to contribute in gadget situations, Milroe is the clear choice. However, if they're looking for a more traditional, plug-and-play backup who can run the offense similarly to Tua, Gabriel might be the better fit. As for draft value, Milroe's stock is intriguing. The Dolphins hold the 13th and 48th overall picks, but it's highly unlikely they'd use those selections on a quarterback. However, with a compensatory pick likely in the late 3rd round, around 98th overall, Milroe could be a serious option if he's still on the board. Gabriel, on the other hand, is projected to go in the 4th or 5th round, which could make him a more cost-effective choice. At the end of the day, the Dolphins have a big decision to make. Would you rather see them draft Jalen Milroe for his athleticism and versatility, or do you prefer the safer, more experienced Gabriel as a backup? Let us know what you think. Drop a comment with your pick and tell us why. Stay tuned for more updates as we continue to track Miami's draft strategy leading up to April. The Miami Dolphins' search for a backup quarterback is shaping up to be one of the more interesting subplots of their offseason. With Jalen, Milroe, and Gabriel both in the conversation, fans are split on which prospect, if either, makes the most sense for Miami. But what does this pursuit really tell us about the team's future plans? First, let's talk about what this means for the current quarterback situation. Tua Tagovailoa is locked in as the starter, and barring an unexpected contract dispute, injury concern, or blockbuster trade, that won't change. However, Miami's interest in Milroe and Gabriel signals that they are seriously looking for a capable backup who fits their offensive scheme. Mike White, who served as Tua's primary backup last season, had a forgettable year and is not considered a long-term solution. If Miami invests a mid-round pick in a quarterback, it likely means they're looking for a player who can eventually take over the number 2 job and possibly develop into more than that down the road. Milroe, with his dynamic running ability, represents a completely different type of quarterback from what Miami currently has. He could be used in specialized short yardage and red zone packages, similar to how the New Orleans Saints used Taysom Hill. That versatility is something the Dolphins have lacked in recent years, and it could provide a unique element to their offense. The issue, of course, is whether Milroe can develop into a reliable passer at the NFL level. If he doesn't, he may be limited to a gadget role, and spending a third-round pick on a player who might never become a full-time quarterback is a risky investment. Gabriel, on the other hand, is a much more traditional pocket passer, albeit one with physical limitations. His accuracy and quick decision-making make him an ideal fit for Miami's system, where timing is everything. However, his lack of arm strength and deep ball ability could limit the offense if he ever had to take over for Tua. While he might be able to keep things afloat for a few games in an injury scenario, it's hard to see Gabriel as anything more than a high-end backup in the NFL. The question then becomes, how much value does Miami place on finding a backup quarterback in this draft? If they truly believe Milroe has the potential to be a long-term developmental player, spending a third-round pick on him makes sense. But if they're just looking for insurance behind Tua, they might be better off waiting until the 4th or 5th round to target Gabriel, or even looking at other late-round or veteran options. One other possibility that hasn't been widely discussed is the idea of Miami drafting both Milroe and Gabriel. While it's rare for a team to draft 2 quarterbacks in the same year, it's not unprecedented. If the Dolphins truly see Milroe as a gadget player first and a quarterback second, they could justify taking him in the 3rd round and then using a later pick on Gabriel as a more traditional backup. It would be an unconventional move, but one that could give Miami multiple options at the position while also creating competition in training camp. Beyond the draft, Miami could also explore other quarterback options in free agency. While names like Gardner Minshew, Jacoby Brissett, or even a reunion with Ryan Fitzpatrick in an emergency scenario might not excite fans, they could provide the team with a more experienced backup at a reasonable cost. This would allow the Dolphins to use their draft picks on other needs, such as offensive line depth or defensive help. So, Dolphins fans, where do you stand on this? Do you believe Miami should invest a 3rd-round pick in Jalen Milroe's upside? Would you rather see them take a safer option like Gabriel in the later rounds? Or should the team ignore quarterbacks in the draft altogether and look for a veteran backup in free agency? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's go Dolphins!